everyone, it's Dave from Easy Solutions, and today I'm going to walk you through the income and expenses workbook. This workbook is available on my Etsy shop for purchase, and I'm going to leave the link in the description. So let's get started. So I've completed here a demo workbook that has all the information filled out for you. When you make the purchase, you'll receive this demo workbook as well as a blank template. So real quick, I'll just walk you through the different tabs on the file. This is the setup tab where you enter your income and expenses, your income over here in row 7 through 15, and your expenses in 17 through 25. Second tab is your income transactions, where you will enter your income transactions for each date, and you'll select your category and subcategories that you enter on the setup tab. The expense transactions tab is set up exactly the same as the income tab. Next, you'll have your detailed P&L, which basically breaks down your income and loss by month. This gives you detail into your P&L by month, by each income category and subcategory, and each expense category and subcategory. Next is your monthly dashboard. It's got some charts and graphs that are interactive here, and I'm going to walk through them in more detail in a bit. But basically, for the year and the month you select, it displays a variety of information. And lastly is your annual dashboard tab, which is also interactive. It has two charts and graphs and some additional information down here in two different tables. And again, it's interactive based on the year and the different categories that you select. So now I'm going to walk you through a little more detail. So first, what you'll do is you'll enter your different income categories. Again, you can completely customize them to your liking. So for instance, we have the wages category here. If you delete it, you can see that it deletes on top here. And this is where you will enter your subcategories for your wages and all of your other income categories that you enter. Now, real quick, the best part about this workbook is the ability to analyze different income streams or different businesses that you create. For instance, I've set up, a rental property income category with different subcategories. Same with rental property 2 and Etsy income. So this is income from my Etsy business. And if you have another business, say you have a glasses business, you can also set up your income categories, and similarly, you can do the same for your expense categories. So that's what makes this workbook so great and unique, is you can actually compare each business unit separately. So if you want to look at, how your rental property number 1, is operating and how you're doing from year to year or month to month, and say compare it to another, income stream, your rental property, you can do that, or you can compare in total. Your business units that you can compare and contrast against are over here. So again, we have a rental property income business unit and a rental property number 2 income business unit. Same with your expenses. And again, for your Etsy income business unit and Etsy expense business unit. Next, we'll go to our income tab. So basically the only things that you have to do here is enter the date of the transaction, select your category and select your subcategory, and then enter the income amount. And there's also some additional columns for notes if you want. So one great thing about this is, based on the category that you enter, the drop-down lists that populate for the subcategory are dependent on your category. So you can see for Etsy income category, only 4 products calculate 4 subcategories. But if you enter your glasses business earnings income category, then different subcategories calculate. So, what's great is, you're not scrolling through 100 different subcategories. Your subcategories populate based on your income category. And again, these income categories and the drop-down lists come from these different income categories that you create. And the subcategories So the subcategories for passive income populate from, if we look at passive income, the different subcategories over here. And that is the income tab in detail. Real quick, the last thing you can do is, as you're entering, if you just want to check how much you entered, you can put a date in. Say we want to see what the total income is from February 1st, 2022 to 3/31/2022. You can see that your total income amounts to 166,857. So that's just a quick check, as you're entering, if you want to check that you entered the right amount. The expenses tab is, the same. I don't really need to walk through it in detail, but again, your expenses, your categories populate from the setup tab, and the subcategories populate from the setup tab. And I think we can move on to the detailed P&L. So the detailed P&L kind of automatically calculates for you. There's not much to do here, but basically, depending on the year that you select, you could select year 2022 or 2023. You can see that everything populates for you. And again, I only have 2022 and 2023 data entered, but if you select 2024, you can see that everything's zero. And, just for your information, the years that calculate is based on the start date that you enter in the workbook. And from the date that you enter in the setup tab, the workbook will automatically calculate for 5 years. So if you enter a 1/1/22 start date under detailed P&L, you get 5 years from that start date that you can use this workbook. After that, you could just simply copy and paste it and use it again. Lastly, there's this little filter for you on top in case you want to see everything, but I haven't entered all my wages, all my income categories and subcategories for my wage category. So you can see that there is a lot of blank rows. So what you can simply do is just uncheck this blanks from the filter. Uncheck the hide from the filter, and all of your blank rows will, be hidden. At the bottom here is your net income by month and your gross profit by month. So now let's get to the exciting stuff, the monthly dashboard tab. And again, this is interactive. So first, what you do is you select the year that you want to view, and you select the month that you want to view. And you can see that your income expense information populates for you over here. Now, for your charts to calculate, the only thing that you need to do is you just need to go to the data tab and refresh all. And you can see that when you refresh all of your charts automatically update based on your selections. So again, we selected year 2023 in October. So what populates below is all of your income categories and all of your expense categories for October of 2023. Now, what's interactive about these charts is you could choose and decide which items or which categories you want to see in your charts by these little yes and no drop downs over here. So say we only want to see rental property income 1 and rental property income 2 and the expenses for those properties. What we could do is simply select no for the others and select yes for the rental property income and do the same for the expenses. And then again, we just have to refresh all. And you can see that now the chart has updated for just, it looks like Glass's business earnings. I didn't mean to include that. So let's just change this to no, and then do a refresh all again. And now you can see your income and expenses for just those income categories and expense categories. And again, say we want to see that for 2022, just do a refresh all. And again, it populates here. So you can basically, I set up 3 comparisons for you. So if you want to compare just, again, your Etsy income and Etsy expenses, you can see the categories populate for just Etsy income and just Etsy expenses. So over here is all of your income categories and all of your expense categories. And in these two sets of columns with the two charts each, it's for a specific income category and expense category. So here I'm just looking at my Etsy income categories and Etsy expense categories. And here I've set up my rental property income 1 and rental property income 2. And again, if you don't want to see certain items populate in your charts, you make the yes or no selection and then just do a refresh all, and everything populates automatically for you. The charts update automatically. Next, we have a little bit of an analytical comparison where you can compare your base year, which is what you have selected at the top here. So if I have 2023 and July, that becomes my base year, which shows all of my income and all of my expenses. And then you can make the selection for 4 comparative years. So if you want to compare that to 2023 June, 2023 May, 2023 April, and 2023 March, all of this data populates for you along with the chart. And again, this is a great way to, look at how your, different segments and your income and losses from one month versus another. Lastly, we have kind of another breakout of your income and expenses for 3 specific business units. It's also this is more of a data view, but your charts are interactive. So what you do is you select your income unit and your expense unit, and the data populates for you. And here, what you could do is if you only want to include 2 in the total, then you can select no. But say you want to include a third, you select yes here. And now it's also including this income category and expense category. So you can see your totals here, and you can enter your description of your total income. So, if we're just looking at rental property income 1 and rental property income 2, let's deselect this one. And then we can say rent income, rent income, and that's not great. Cancellation income for both, and so on. And you can set this, however works best for you. And if you want, you can change the font if you want to use it this way, but it's really for your ease of use and to, make it flexible for however you want to compare your, income and expense categories. Lastly is the annual dashboard. Again, it's interactive. So what you do is you select the year that you want to see. And again, we don't have any data enter for 2024 yet, but let's look at 2022. Shows you your total income, expenses, net income, and your profit margin. And this first chart shows your income and expenses and net income for the year selected. And the next chart gives you flexibility into certain income and expense categories once again. So for 2022, if you want to see your Etsy income and your Etsy expenses, this shows the income, expenses, and loss for that income and expense category. And say we want to look at a rental property for the year and our rental expenses for the year. And again, the charts update automatically. Over here is, just another data view of your income and loss by category for the year by month. So you can look at if you're improving each month, going down, what month took a hit, what month went up, where you can improve. If your bills are, decreasing, that's good. Why did that happen? It's for your analysis. And lastly, this chart view over here also, shows you your, and, there's no security, so you could adjust how you see fit, but it shows you your income and expense for the selections made above, by a month. So, it looks like your rental income by month for rental property number 1 is staying at $4,000 per month, which you should expect unless there's a bump in the lease. And, looking at your expenses in total, it looks like, they're staying, even throughout the year. And that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the demo. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. And thanks for watching.